Union Station, taking a big bus tour. And obviously if you go through the city, well, it's a good 2.5 hour tour if you don't get off the bus, or probably a little less. But if you're really short in time, they'll tell you that take the tour of the bus. And if you feel that you have time, because I wanted to go to the Washington Monument, and actually there, it takes a while actually to go to the top because there are tickets stamped and then there's a line. I have tried many times over the years, not been able to. Maybe someday, hopefully, God willing. There's the Capitol Hill building. Early morning, one of the first groups I was able to get inside. Yes, sir. And then right across from there is the U.S. Supreme Court. I was able to make it there as well. So for viewers like you, it's pretty good to watch all this for free, basically. It's a good social service, I would say, to my family and friends and my YouTube channel members and viewers, that you almost feel like you're inside the bus, the tour bus, and taking a free tour, for which I have to pay, but I enjoy traveling. 50 plus countries, thanks God, but you know, it's like there's no end to it. So one of my friends was saying then, well, actually the dean of my program back when I was, you know, in some university, that you have made 50 to 51. What about the other 200 countries that there are? It's been more than 50 so far. But within the United States, also there are 50 different states, and most people here have not seen the states. That the beauty of each state is very unique and worth enjoying when you go to such places in different states, as each different state has its own characteristic, name, personality, etc. If you ask me which state I have liked the most, it's a very hard question. Very hard question, because each state is beautiful. Very, very beautiful indeed. Obviously, people move to where the economy is better, the house prices are less. And it's such a different culture from east to the west, that for many years we lived in the Midwest, and the culture on the east seemed very different. Fast moving rather. And when you're on the west coast, you definitely feel relaxed. It's not as fast moving. I have not lived in Los Angeles, but some of the other places we have lived and visited. Indeed, as one of my friends always say, West is the best. West meaning the West Coast is the best coast. No offense intended for people living on the East Coast. All states are so pretty that indeed wherever you live in the United States, in a way you are blessed. Materialistically, or worldwide at least, I mean, in spirituality is a whole different ballgame. But people can get off at different places. I don't have the headsets on, so I really don't know where exactly the buses are going to stop. Whatever excites you, you can get off wherever you want. Shut off the channel whenever you want. Or the vlog. But if you really want to enjoy all of of the Washington, D.C. highlights, man. Here it is. All right in front of you. Right across from here is the Washington Monument. Look at the chariots. There's so much history here in this country about these fighters. And look at all them tourists coming here. No offense intended, but none of them actually look like they are from here. Many of them are actually appearing to be foreigners and probably visiting, maybe on a school trip or something from somewhere else. Yes, we do have Chinese tourists right here sitting right next to us and have come here all the way from China to enjoy the beauty of America. And if you really want to book a smaller tour or a tour with a smaller company, there are many. There are many. So the best thing to do is to stay here downtown, a hotel somewhere. Hotels are not too bad, around $300 a night. And then you could... Are you going? All right. Yes. These bunch of tourists are leaving, so I better go in the front. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, they're getting off at the Capitol Hill. The Capitol building. Which, indeed, by itself, is a place to be for a half-day tour. So much to see inside the building, if especially you are a student of history, or even you're not. You need to brush up your history of this country.
You're pilot, or I'm co-pilot. So if you're leading, I'll follow.
So one has to be really patient when you're taking a long tour. People are getting off and getting on the bus.
Right here.
How you doing?
Doing, how are you?
Yeah. Where are you visiting from?
Grace.
From right here?
From Texas.
Oh boy.
Yeah, how about you?
Yeah, it's Seattle.
Seattle, wow.
Yeah, all the way
Oh,
west.
man, all the way west. Wow.
Northwest, Pacific Northwest.
Pacific Northwest, as a matter of
It's a
fact.
lot more hotter here than.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. It's not the first time though.
Good.
There we go.
We'll get those pictures now.
All these tour buses I know on the West Coast, especially California and Seattle and all these, if you go to places, most of them are actually owned by Asian tour companies. Hardworking people. Like any other American. I remember taking a bus tour from West Coast all the way to the Yellowstone. It was like a 5-day tour. It was beautiful. I did not make video or vlogs at that time, so most of them tour pictures and photos were in the form of a picture, and most of them are actually wasted because they did not save many of them travels. Typical of any big city these days, the food trucks, ice cream trucks, one after the other. Many of them are, like you said, halal meat, halal food, Mediterranean, etc. Oh boy. name Indian doesn't belong. It should be native, because these are the American natives on whose land we live now. Native Americans rather than Indian Americans, or actually people who come from India are the Indian Americans or American Indians, but these are the natives whose country we live in. Actually, it's all America now, but it is this one blessed country. So many nationalities of the entire world actually want to come here to live the American dream.
So they can walk around. No. I think so. They're getting dropped off. Maybe a lift. Maybe a lift or.
Seems like the driver has just changed. I was thinking to stop the vlog and then continue with a separate video about somebody else driving. But here at the Smithsonian Institute, a place where you want to come and see. It's a huge museum. There's a whole lot of different museums inside, and worth, I would say, would take, if you really want to enjoy the whole thing, one day. Just at the Smithsonian museums. Well, these places are not cheap. To give you an idea, the bus ticket itself is $60. Some companies do it for more, some for less, but the average is $60. And to go inside any of these buildings that you go in, except for the government building, the museums, however, you have to buy a ticket. I took my kids back, and I don't know, maybe about 15 years ago or 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And at that time, it was like $40, $35 per person at the Smithsonian Museum of Art. And similarly, many other institutions that have to be maintained. A lot of people working there, etc., etc. So the prices they charge are not necessarily too expensive because of all the maintenance of all the items that are there in the museums and all that. This looks like Pentagon building. You can also make an appointment to go inside. It's not too difficult. Especially difficult actually is to get inside the White House. There is a 3-week period where you have to, in other words, apply to get inside for an appointment to tour the building. So minimum of 3 weeks ahead of time you have to apply, and then you get and they give you 3 choices. If you get your appointment, you just cannot walk inside and say, I want to take a tour. It's not possible for the White House. Some of the other places, they allow you to do so. There's the Spy Museum. They say it's worth it. I haven't been inside. And then, of course, there's the District Wharf. It's always an exciting place to be. See the boats and the water and the seafood. Well, this is one of the stops for the bus at the Spy Museum. Anywhere you go in America is full of greenery. From DC to the Washington State, the Pacific Northwest is probably 25 times more greener than here, especially if you go in the hills and stuff. But here as well, Potomac Falls, right here near Washington, D.C. is very, very pretty. Just like any other fall in the Pacific Northwest. The entire America is green. I haven't been to Arizona, which is on the top of my list. To go see Arizona sometime soon. Whether it is all sand or all the grass, I don't know yet. Hopefully we'll make a vlog there someday. Soon. God willing. What happens with these trees is they basically get dry unless they're watered. And I bet that there is a way of watering them because it's really hot in Washington right now, Washington DC. Really hot. I think it's probably in the low 90s. Summertime temperatures. A lot of pedestrians, like any other city, slows down the traffic. on the roads all over the U.S. actually. You see the construction signs, the orange cones, plastic cones, the construction workers all over the place, especially on the highways and the streets inside the city, inner cities, and everywhere else. The good thing which I see now, this is Independence Avenue, very famous in America, is that the roads are always very good. The investment they have made and they continue to make in the roads here and bridges is pretty good compared to the other countries I'm talking about. Here also there are always complaints that some bridges are very old, need to be fixed, but overall they have done an excellent job. They're very safe, the roads, the bridges here. There were some historic bridges I know, they were in Michigan and some other places I have traveled to. Wooden bridges, very, very old, but very few cars go through there. And sometimes some tourists from some place might come to see just that bridge, wooden bridge, but not in big cities. Some antique buildings.
What a long building.
That red building looks very different because none of the buildings are red. They're all marble and they're all gray, more or less. I have no idea what this building is. Very pretty. Definitely from the 1800s or maybe 1700s. Well, back on the main street, and I bet we are very close to the Washington Monument. There it is.
Oh, I missed it.
There it is. The Great Monument. And to the right is the Capitol Building. I have to show it to you like this. The Capitol Building right there. On the right. So there is a walking distance of probably around 20 minutes from Capitol Hill Building to the Washington Monument.
It's really low.
This one I was showing you yesterday, apparently it looks like the Museum of Black History. I could be wrong. Do you know what building this is?
I didn't hear.
That's this.
Yeah, so
Museum of African American.
that's what I thought,
Yeah.
yes, that's what I thought, yeah. Museum of African American History and Culture of the African Americans. Yeah. I have not been inside. As I said earlier, that you need to have at least 5 days in DC to be able to capture all the fine buildings, structures, and tours of the major sites. Asking the guy at the Capitol Hill how many tourists come here every day. He says during the high season, which is summer, there are about 10,000 tourists per day that visit just the Capitol building, which is a huge number of tourists coming to one building. the Washington Monument. I bet it is open right now, but I don't want to go up there. It takes too much time to get in the line and then go up there. It's probably at least in half an hour. Sorry, half a day thing. You need half a day just for this one monument. To be able to buy the ticket, because there are always long lines, go up there, come back down, etc. At least 3 to 4 hours is what you need. Another view from here, from the window. Yes, sirree.
Abraham Lincoln. This is the memorial to him.
Taking my camera to the left, the front window of the bus. Big lawns everywhere. It's a walker's dream to come here and walk. There's so many green lawns everywhere and walkways. You can walk all day if you like to walk. What I'm going to do now is stop here. It's almost 30 minutes long vlog and make 3 parts of this tour. So you have to look out for, this was part 1, half an hour vlog, and then I'll try to make a part 2 and part 3 depending on if I find the places interesting or from where I start after this particular stop. See you soon.